welcome to Leslie's studio. This is Dalton.
How you guys doing?
Hey, we got a great show for you today. This is the unboxing of the Bugera amp that Dalton's been waiting for.
This is the BC30-212 boutique amp. It's an awesome amp, and we're going to unbox this thing and we're going to get going and show you what it's all about.
Hope you like the show.
Okay guys, so here it is, the Bugera BC30-212 boutique style 30 watt Class A valve combo with valve rectifier right there on the box. It's here. The box is looking a little bit rough, but hopefully as we get in we'll find a nice shiny new working being the key word here, amplifier. What do you think, EC?
Oh, this is amazing. Hey, check out the back of the box. The back of the box actually shows the back of the amp.
Yeah, that was kind of a classy touch, wasn't it?
We need to get into this.
Alright guys, here we go. We're going to start our unboxing, and we'll do our typical side cuts over here first. Trying to be careful not to dig into the amplifier. Okay, our top cut. That opened pretty easily. This all looks nice. All packed good. Pretty typical of boxing these days. Okay. Alright. Good old foam pieces. Now these are padded pretty nice, which is good because our box was pretty rough when it got here, so hopefully that has done its job properly and not brought any damage. And look, this is a nice little thing. They put 2 pieces of extra padding in here, cardboard, so even if the outer box is broken, we still have a margin of safety here. So that was good. And we start with, on the top of it, top of the amplifier is our power cord. I don't know where I'm looking. Our power cord. We'll set that aside for the moment. And I'm going to reach in and break the seal on the plastic so I'll have a handle where I can pull it out. You're going to hear me strain a little bit because this is, after all, an 88-pound amplifier. I can do this 2 ways. I can either cut the box around it or I can deadlift it out. And because I'm a musician, I don't want to waste time. I'm going straight for the deadlift. Okay, out it comes. In the box is our last 2 pieces of foam. Move the box out of the way. Okay, first impressions. Let me get this other piece of plastic out. Okay, so I gotta say it's a good looking amplifier. I'm gonna put my glasses on for a moment so I can really see. Over the Bugera label, we have our piece of plastic that's guarding it from scratches and so forth. We have a second one that's up here. It runs along the whole length of this panel board, and it seems to come off pretty easily. It's made around the knobs, but yet it can peel away pretty easily. Oops, we just pulled off one of our chicken knobs here, but those pop back on pretty easily. There we go. And you know what? Since they pop off that easily, I'm just going to pull around them. A little piece sticking right here. I can come back and clean that later. keep going around this first. What do you think, EC?
That is an amazing looking amp. Right out of the box.
Volume knob is giving me a little trouble coming off. It's alright, I'll just work around that one. Okay, so off comes this piece to a black shiny interface. And I got a little cleanup work here to do, but I'll come back on this in a few minutes. I won't bore you guys with the time that it'll take on that. So you see, if you don't mind, I'm going to pull this a little bit forward. You want to take a pan around?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and let's look at the front face. Why don't you point to the knobs and tell me what's on there?
Okay. Well, let me start at the top, if I may. I've got one of the things that I noticed right away on this is because this is such a heavy amplifier. They did a really nice job of thinking on this. They've got a center handle, as you can see. They also have two outer handles, so that when you're gigging, you and one of your buddies.
It's a brother-in-law handle.
It's a brother. That's exactly right. That's a brother-in-law handle.
I vote to be sober when I carry that.
Well, good luck with that. We are musicians after all. So anyway, you have three knobs on that, and they look like they're well crafted. They're made of leather, or some sort of leather-looking material.
Oh, the three handles, yes.
Yeah. And I can't tell.
And how are they seated on the top?
I can't tell if that's actual leather, but they're.
Are they screwed in?
They are. They're screwed in with very large bolts, actually, very large screws, and they seem pretty sturdy.
Well, you know what? If we get a hot babe, maybe she can sit in the center, and we can carry the handles on each end, and she can ride it like a seesaw. That's what that's for.
That's a possibility. We'll have to look into that.
Good thing it's your amp.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like there's another piece of plastic here, but I don't know. Right off the bat, I can't see how to pull that off. I'll have to work at that one. And again, I don't think I'm going to bore you guys with the time that it'll take to do that. But there is the interface. It's got a nice grill on it. It's got a little bit of threading in it that seems to have a like a silver piece that runs through it.
Yeah, very retro looking. I like
very,
that.
Very retro. This is it's very similar to a match. I think it's a matchless amplifier. Very similar in style.
Well, talk about the panel there at the top. What's your first impressions on the knobs and everything?
Absolutely. First of all, I'd like to say I love these type of knobs. A lot of people don't.
And you called them chicken knobs.
These are chicken knobs, and hence their look of a chicken beak. And anyway, so these,
and I like it being white like that off ivory.
Absolutely. These are stylized from back in like the 50s, I think it was, when these first this design first came out. It may have been even earlier than that. I'm not really sure on that actually, but I know they go back very far. But anyway, so as you had mentioned, it has a very retro look. Now this panel, once we get into it, this whole panel lights up. The Bugera sign lights up. All the panel itself lights up, and it's a very, very cool looking amp from like the stage.
And we're going to have a second show on this on the first plug-in and the first play. Is that right? Absolutely,
we will. We'll do a whole other show on that, or we'll cut segments from shows from time to time and come back to it hopefully. But anyway, so our interface on the amplifier is it starts with a volume. Well, first it starts with a high and a low channel, and then you have your volume, a bass, a treble, and then you have your second channel. So channel 1, channel 2, again you have your high and low channel here, and your volume for this channel, your tone, and then this is a cut switch. Now this is a really cool feature I'll get into a little bit later, but just know that for the moment that's there. And then you have your master volume, and your standby, and your power, and then your LED light here. So that's the interface.
Is this everything you expected?
It is so far. It is absolutely a stunning looking amplifier. It's beautiful. And here's the great news. Even though the box was pretty rough, I don't see any damage at all to the outer surface of the amplifier. And I'm gonna go over this a lot closer in the next few hours and days. But for sure, just on the first sight of it, I'm glad to see that there's absolutely no damage. Here's another really kind of neat little thing. If you're a lover of Marshall amplifiers, they've taken the time to put this little stitching right here, this little piece around this piping. I don't know, they have a technical name for that, but it's very similar to what Marshall cabinets would have on it. And I think that's a very attractive feature on the amplifier too. So there's the front. Now I'm going to turn it around for you. And I'm going to do this from the top because this is a pretty heavy amp.
Yeah, and you're already using that auxiliary secondary handle. That was good.
Yeah, but I noticed I didn't have my roadie here doing this, so.
Well, I'm still waiting for the babe to sit in the middle to help you.
Now this is a really interesting feature here on this amplifier, and I don't know a lot about this. I'll do a little bit of research before we get further into this, but I am aware of it. There is two different speakers that come in this amplifier. There is a 320 watt and a 400 watt. And this one right here is called a 12G320A8 speaker. And this one is a 12G400B8. And they're powered different. This one right here says a continuous power of 100 watts, a peak power of 400 watts, and this one over here has a continuous power of 80 watts and a peak power of 320 watts. So they have stylized this amplifier to pair those with those two to pair up in tandem, and supposedly, and from all the things that I've seen on the internet about this, most everyone who has this amplifier is pretty happy with it, and some of the things that I've seen on it as far as the sound, I've really been I've been fascinated with it for a few weeks, and I can't wait to dig into it to find out what it'll do for myself and for you guys. Okay, so above up here, and I'm going to just give a brief rundown on this, and hopefully we can put some more stats up and talk about this a little bit later. We're kind of on limited time at this moment. But anyway, you have your effects loop for channel 1 and channel 2 below it. And this is a send and return over here. You can see that. The output power stage, you have normal and reverse, which we'll talk about later. And then you have full and half impedance. And this is the internal, and the internal down here is 16 ohm, 8 ohm, and 4 ohm choices. Okay, and then I think right here what you have is, this goes of course to your speakers, and I think you have a second supply for extended cabinet if you decide you want to stack this and turn this into a full stack, or just put another extension cabinet on it, that kind of thing. And of course then you have your power supply over here. And there you have it, fellas.
Well, I can't wait till we get this thing plugged in, turned on, and you start ripping. So
Absolutely.
On our next show, we're going to be able to get that done.
Me too, EC. We're going to have fun with that. And you guys are going to have fun too with this, because we're going to be talking about this amplifier and showing a lot more on it. And actually, we'll be learning this amplifier together. I just wanted to bring this out, and I was excited because the package just got here in part, and had my buddy with me today. So anyway, we're going to be doing shows on things like this in the future. More and more of these kinds of things, equipment like amplifiers, guitars, and that kind of thing, and talk about all the things that you and I love to talk about. And so anyway, thank you for watching this first segment, and we'll be back later.
And once again, it's the Bugera Combo BC30-212.
There you have it, guys.
Well, that's a wrap for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. We've got an exciting show coming up with you next week.
Yeah, and this time we're gonna light the amp up, and we're gonna see what it actually sounds like. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that one, aren't we, EC?
That's right, and it's never been plugged in, it's never been turned on, and we're going to do it on this show, and we're going to go through some of the features and benefits of this amp based on what Dalton thinks about it.
Absolutely. Live, coming at you guys.
Here we go, it's a wrap.
Take care, guys.